trust.
Second that.
Okay, so for deck checks, we are going to be doing not that. So the first thing that we're going to do when we go around or go to a table is you're going to scoop, but you're going to give the deck right back. We're not going to actually perform a deck check on that deck. We're going to be doing mid rounds and or start rounds and mid rounds, and he's going to have decks for you to check. He's going to have 4 decks with deck lists that you guys can check and do all that. Because we don't want people to be playing and doing, or we don't want people waiting because we're not doing full rounds or time extensions for full rounds. We're just going to be cutting it off at the end. So you're going to come in, you're going to practice the swoop, and you're going to give it right back, and not going to impact the game at all. You're going to need to still practice proper swooping techniques, and we're not here to tell you how to do your job. We're telling you what your job is, what your expectations are, and then we're going to kind of critique you at that between rounds. So you're going to go in, you're going to swoop, you're going to do a start round and a mid round, and then proceed from there. So that's about it for what you're going to be doing.
I'm going to sort of second what Spencer just said there is we're not we're not going to tell you what to do. Our goal today isn't to give you step-by-step instructions on what to do. We're going to give you the tools that you need to make this event work. And you're going to need to use your own skills, knowledge, and previous experiences to try to get things figured out and going as best you can. So my team is going to be working on paper or slips. So that's going to be getting match slips distributed for the rounds. That's going to be collecting those and sorting those so that if there's any problems or discrepancies in a round, we can very easily find a list, which I understand that with today having, 10 players, it's not going to be that difficult to find it. But if you're in an event with 300 or 400 matches per round, you're really going to want some sort of organization there. So getting that practice in is going to be incredibly beneficial. You're also going to be responsible for putting up pairings for each round, possibly standings towards the end. So figuring out where you want those to go. And then otherwise, when those tasks are taken care of and completed, you'll be out on the floor judging. So Spencer's group is going to be pretty much just all in on deck checks during that round. Everyone else is going to be on the floor. So if you're with my group, as soon as your paper responsibilities are taken care of, judge.
Something before we go to the next one. Everybody should lean on everybody. A big part of judging is making sure that you can talk to other judges. Lean on everybody else and figure out, if you don't know how to do something, figure out if somebody on the team does. Because somebody on the team does. You just have to ask. Don't be afraid to talk to each other. You're a team. It's not you versus everybody else. It's the team making sure this event works.
You can also ask us too.
Yeah.
We will be players, and we will be in character, but if you need to take a second in time out to ask us a question, we are still here to help. So it's free.
I would also say, though, that going to your team and to your head judge first is the way you should go.
No, I'm not sure about this one, actually.
So,
you're always in the frame, aren't you?
yes, I am a work of art, yes.
It is the frame.
So basically, the portion I want to cover is end of round. So if you're on end of round, what's that mean? What's your job? Your goal is to try to turn over the rounds as quickly as possible. And the way you do that is try to make sure the matches end as quickly as possible. Now that isn't going to tables and harassing players to play faster like crazy, although you do want to make sure that you're having people watching for slow play. This is seeing what tables are out towards the end of the round and directing other judges to go to those tables to watch those matches. So you will find out from whoever the scorekeeper is what tables are out, or you'll look at the floor in this case because there's not very many players in this event. And you will assign judges to sit on those matches towards the end of the round. A lot of times you're also responsible for keeping track of what time extensions have been out there, so you can make sure to direct people specifically to those tables first to try to make sure that someone is there to answer questions if time gets called on a round and stuff like that.
So we're not actually
using extensions today, right? But we are still assigning them, and we should still pretend that they're in play until the time actually does.
Yes.
Right?
Everything, as far as I read it, at 40 minutes, the round's over, no matter if there's extra turns or time.
Correct. The extensions exist. It's still
Yes.
direct people to
Treat
those
this
turns.
event as if it was a regular event, even though 40 minutes is going to be.
Okay.
All right, I guess that brings it. Am I in frame?
You
So I
are
got
in
my good
frame.
side?
You
Okay.
are.
So my responsibility today is going to be dealing with the head judge group. So we're going to be talking pretty much the entire time we're with each other. We're going to go over a lot of philosophical stuff because there are a lot of different approaches to head judging, and all of them have some degree of validity in any given circumstance. Head judging is, along with end of round, one of the tasks that changes the most based on the tournament. So if you have a 20-player event, that's going to be a very different experience than if you have a 150-player event. That and EOR really scale with the room. So we're going to talk about how head judging looks according to the scale of the tournament that you're working with. We're going to talk a lot about the role of head judge. I'm going to talk a lot about how I approach the task, and it's going to be really dense. So get your notebooks ready. We're going to have a lot of fun. Now, who's here to stop the recording?
I can do that.
It does. It just keeps going.
It just keeps going.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Are we streaming?
Before we
No,
start,
we're just recording.
Okay. Good. That means they can edit out anything
Yeah.
that happens.
we're too lazy for that. It's just all
We'll fix it in post.
Well, I mean, that's what
There
we
is no
have David for, I thought.
Huh?
I thought that's what we had David for, was editing.
No, David doesn't have that.
So, does anybody have any questions for the presenter?
I am slightly curious. How are we doing work? For instance, who is actually going to be scorekeeping / otherwise? Is that just going to end up falling on the head judge list, or?
So I think the answer to that should be whoever we like the least as a group, because then they have to. Yep, step right up.
I mean, we could always wrap that
So,
in one group if we would like.
so one of the things that we discussed, I don't know who all was there. It's not a big tournament.
Yeah.
The scorekeeper in this one doesn't matter so much.
I'm not saying
As a judge, you aren't going to be a scorekeeper. It's an important skill to have, but this is not about scorekeeping. So it's just going to be as we get them, whoever's available.
Okay. So really, what it comes down to is none of us have received the Hogwarts letter from the secret coven of scorekeepers that joined their secret ranks. So we're not qualified to offer that invitation to other people. So
And it's a Hogwarts
I have-
letter I'm waiting for? Is there an
yeah,
owl?
for
It's a
scorekeeping,
Hogwarts style.
it is a Hogwarts letter. You get it delivered by some
hairy man on a
Man, I'd love
motorcycle,
to
or
get
is it
that
an owl?
I'm all
It's
about
I
it.
would prefer big hairy man on a motorcycle.
It's
Okay.
Jack Hogan, like in his owl costume.
Just falls down your chimney.
No, it's Eric Levine. Just Eric Levine.
Just Eric Levine.
He is an owl.
Yes, players, we're having more fun than you over here. I mean, what?
So also, if
So
anybody does want to
Yeah.
actually learn how to enter penalties, that can be arranged with Scott as well. That's
Okay.
that's what he had said. If someone really wants to learn how to enter penalties,
I was asking for Carl here. Carl is a rather new L1 and has never actually used one.
Just a little bit of
So that's why I was asking is
last
because
week in that
Flies.
if you really want to,
Where is
all right, we can have a conversation.